Hello everyone and welcome to today's session, and today we'll be discussing the theory related to the chapter reproductive health. This is the part 4 of the lecture, and today we'll be discussing the NCERT section 3.4, which is sexually transmitted diseases. Before starting this lecture, I just want to give you one information that the images section are the materials used in the presentations are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So today we'll be discussing the sexually transmitted diseases. So let's first understand what is STDs or sexually transmitted diseases. How can we define them? So infections that can be passed from one person to another through sexual contact. These are known as sexually transmitted diseases. Or you can also say that the infections which are passed from the infected person to another healthy person through sexual intercourse or through sexual contact, okay, through or during coitus. These are known as sexually transmitted diseases. So basically these diseases, they are spread through body fluids such as semen and vaginal secretions. So these STD, they are caused by various pathogens, and these can be categorized into these microorganisms, or these pathogens can be categorized into bacteria, viruses, and some parasites such as protozoans. So these are all microorganisms. These bacteria, viruses, and other protozoans, these are all microorganisms. Now, what are the other name of sexually transmitted diseases? So they are also known as sexually transmitted infections. Then they are also known as venereal diseases, abbreviated as VD. So this is the older term. This is the older name given to sexually transmitted diseases. Then another one is the reproductive tract infections, which means these STDs, they are the infections of the reproductive tract. Now let's see this table. So this table is showing you the common sexually transmitted infections and their pathogens. So first one is gonorrhea. Gonorrhea, this is caused by Neisseria gonorrhea, and it is a bacteria. So I've told you these STDs, they are caused by bacteria, viruses, and protozoans as well. So gonorrhea, it is a bacterial disease, and the name of the bacteria is Neisseria gonorrhea. So I've written pathogen here. Pathogen is a microorganism which causes diseases. So these viruses, these bacteria, okay, these protozoans, these all come under the category of the pathogens. Then syphilis. This is also very common sexually transmitted disease. This is caused by a bacteria. So this is a bacterial disease, and the name of the pathogen is Treponema pallidum. Then genital herpes. This is a viral disease, and it is caused by a virus, herpes simplex virus. Now there are two types of HSV, HSV1 and HSV2. Now what happens in genital herpes? So they are blisters in the genital area, and these blisters are very painful. The next one is chlamydiasis. This is also a bacterial disease. Okay, this is caused by bacteria Chlamydia trachomatis. Then genital warts. This is caused by human papilloma virus. So this is the viral disease. So what is warts? So warts are, again, you can say they are not blisters, but there are some outgrowths on the skin which are not painful. So this is different from the blisters which appear in the case of herpes. The next one is trichomoniasis. Remember this. This is caused by a protozoan. Okay, and the name of the protozoan is Trichomonas vaginalis. Then hepatitis B. This is a viral disease caused by hepatitis B virus, abbreviated as HBV. Then HIV, sometimes commonly called as AIDS. This is caused by a virus, human immunodeficiency virus, abbreviated as HIV, and this is also this virus is a retrovirus, means it consists of RNA as the genetic material. So you should remember this table. This is very important. Question can come from here. So here in this image you can see the STIs and their pathogens. You can see chlamydia, which is caused by chlamydia trachomatis. So this pathogen looks like this. Then gonorrhea pathogen looks like this. Gonorrhea is also caused by a bacteria, Neisseria gonorrhea. Then herpes, this is a virus. So herpes virus looks like this. And then hepatitis B virus. So I've shown you the diseases and the shape and the morphology of the pathogen as well. Then HIV virus looks like this. It is a retrovirus. Then human papilloma virus, which causes genital warts. The pathogen looks like this. Okay, so you can syphilis virus. It is spiral, you can see. And then trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis, this is the protozoan. Okay, this is caused by a protozoan named Trichomonas vaginalis. Now, what are the transmission method of these STDs? First, they can be spread from the infected person to healthy person through the sexual intercourse or during the sexual intercourse by body fluids. So these fluid, they consist of the viruses or the bacteria or the pathogen, whatever pathogen. Then these STDs, they can be spread by sharing the injection needles also. Okay, so they can be spread through the blood, you can say. So the blood of the infected person, it carries the pathogen, and these blood, if transfused into the other person, or if the injection needles, they are not you can say sterilized properly, or these injection needles consist of some of the blood of the infected person, and the same injection needle is used to inject some fluid in another healthy person, then this pathogen can transfer to that healthy person as well. Then by using contaminating surgical instrument as well. So these surgical instrument like scissors or scalpel, they should be sterilized properly, because these STDs or STIs, they can be spread through blood also. They are spread through body fluids also and through blood also. Then blood transfusion also. Okay, mother to fetus. These diseases can be spread through mother to fetus also through placenta. So some of the viruses or some of the pathogens, I'll say, they can cross the placenta and they can infect the fetus as well. Okay, these infections can be spread through or during breastfeeding also. So mother's milk, it might also contain these pathogens, and during the breastfeeding, this pathogen can be transferred to the fetus as well. So this is known as vertical transmission. Clear? Means from the mother to the fetus. Now, some of the STDs can be spread through skin to skin contact also, like herpes virus, HPV virus and syphilis. Clear? So you can see this is a figure showing you the transmission methods of these STDs. So more than 90% of the STDs, they are spread through unprotected intercourse. Okay, and then STDs can also be spread through sharing injection needles, or simply you can say needle reuse. Then less than 2% of the STDs are transferred through the blood transfusion or during the blood transfusion, and some of the STDs can also be transferred from the mother to the fetus during the pregnancy through the placenta, or when the mother is giving birth to the child. So whenever the mother is giving birth to the child, what happens? The blood of the mother and the fetus, it mixes. So at that time, there are chances that the pathogen can be transferred to the fetus, and through breastfeeding also. Okay. So you have to remember this. You have to remember the examples also, which STDs are transferred through skin, okay, through blood also. Through blood, HIV and hepatitis can be spread. So these hepatitis B and HIV, it can be spread through or during the sexual intercourse also, and by blood also. So again, you should remember this question can come from here. Which STDs are transferred both by during sexual intercourse and by blood also? So answer will be hepatitis B and HIV. So let's again have a look at this table now. This is common STD symptoms. So here I have listed the symptoms of the sexually transmitted diseases. So you can see here, itching in the genital area. This is a symptom in genital herpes, trichomoniasis, and chlamydia. Then unusual fluid discharge in gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomoniasis. So this genital herpes, gonorrhea, okay, you can see here, these are very common. That's why they are written in bold here. A slight pain during urination, this can occur in gonorrhea and chlamydia. Swellings in the genital region, this can occur in syphilis, genital herpes, and HPV. Now, sometimes the symptoms of these STDs, they don't appear in the females. Means they are asymptomatic. Means what do you mean by asymptomatic? Means the infection is there, but the symptoms, they don't appear. Like in corona also, there was infection in the body, but the symptoms didn't appear. That's why it is quite dangerous also. So the chances of spreading the disease increases because the person is unaware that the person is suffering from that disease. So usually the symptoms of STDs are asymptomatic in the female, especially in the case of chlamydia and gonorrhea. Then fever and fatigue is a symptom in HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis. Rashes or sores on the skin, this is the symptoms which is observed in syphilis, genital herpes, and HPV. Then lower abdominal pain, this is a symptom in chlamydia and gonorrhea. Now again, let's have a look at this table now. Now what are the potential complications if STDs are left untreated? So STDs should be detected early. So early diagnosis of these diseases which will help to, you can say, cure these diseases. So we can design, you can say, we can design a strategy to cure these diseases. Okay. So here you can see, okay, the potential complication if STDs are left untreated. So first one is a pelvic inflammatory disease. So if these STIs or STDs, if they are not treated, then what can happen? It can lead to pelvic inflammatory disease. What is pelvic inflammatory disease? Infection of the female reproductive organs causing severe pelvic pain. And this can lead to infertility also. Then it can lead to abortion also, means premature termination of pregnancy before fetus can survive. Then it can lead to stillbirth also. What do you mean by stillbirth? Death of the fetus after 20 weeks of the pregnancy. This is known as stillbirth. The fetus will die after 20 weeks of the pregnancy. Then ectopic pregnancies. What do you mean by ectopic pregnancies? Now pregnancy which occurs outside the uterus. Usually what happens, the blastocyst, this gets attached to the endometrium of the uterus. Okay, so the development of the fetus occurs within the uterus, but here what happens? The pregnancy occurs outside the uterus, not within the uterus. And the implantation occurs in the fallopian tube instead of the uterus. So this is known as ectopic pregnancies outside the uterus. Okay, typically in fallopian tubes. Then infertility, obviously. If the STDs are not cured, can lead to infertility. What do you mean by infertility? Inability to conceive or carry pregnancy to term. To term means till, in the case of human females, till 9 months. Pregnancy or the gestation period is for 9 months. So inability to conceive or carry pregnancy to term after regular unprotected intercourse. So even after having unprotected intercourse, means without using any contraceptive method, still the couples or the female, she is not able to conceive. Then reproductive tract cancer. So now malignant growth in reproductive organs can occur. Okay, which reproductive organs? Cervix, uterus and ovaries. So it can lead to cervical cancer, uterus cancer and ovarian cancer as well. Then it can lead to neurological problems also, means there can be disorders affecting the brain, spinal cord and nervous system. It can cause heart diseases also, although these are quite rare. What are heart diseases? Condition affecting the heart condition and the blood vessel health. Then in severe cases, the person can die also. Okay, what happens during the death? There is a complete cessation of the life functions due to severe complications. So some of the STDs, they are not at all curable. So mostly the viral diseases, the STDs caused by the virus, there is no complete cure for them. Okay, so like for hepatitis B, like for HIV, there is no complete cure. So their symptoms can be managed, especially HIV. There is no cure for HIV. Their symptoms can be managed, okay, by medicines. Now, who are the high risk group people? Now, the age group of 15 to 24 years. So within this age group, the children's, you can say, or the individuals within this group, they are very vulnerable, or they are very high risk of getting these STDs, because at this stage, what is happening? The person is very curious. There are a lot of changes happening in the person's body. The individuals in this age, they want to explore new things. So they indulge in some wrong activities, which can lead to STDs as well as transmission of these STDs. Okay, again, people having multiple sexual partners, this can also lead to, you can say, transmission of the STDs as well. Then intravenous drug users, so they are also at a very high risk of getting STDs. Then what are the prevention measures? Okay, how can you prevent the spread of the sexually transmitted diseases? So the person should avoid sex with unknown or multiple partners. Then use of condoms during intercourse. So this condom, they are the barrier methods. They are a kind of contraceptive method. Okay, they can be used for family planning also. Okay, they can be used for the population control also. And the use of condoms can also prevent the spread of STDs. Because these STDs, they are spread through the body fluids, such as semen and vaginal secretions. So by wearing these condoms, what happens? The semen doesn't get transferred to into the female reproductive tract, and the vaginal secretions also cannot, you can say, enter into the male reproductive tract. Now there should be regular STI screening. Why regular STI screening is required? Because for the early diagnosis of the sexually transmitted diseases. If the disease is early diagnosed, then you can say strategy can be developed to cure these diseases. So it is better to cure these diseases at an early stage. because at later stages there are a lot of complications and it is not easy to treat the disease. Now seek medical help for early detection. So if the person feels that the person is having the symptoms of STDs, then the person should take medical help for early detection of the disease. So this will help that person also, and this will help in preventing the transmission also of the sexually transmitted diseases. Now, the person should take complete prescribed treatment if infected. So the complete treatment should be taken. The treatment should not be left in between, because some of these STDs are curable also. The bacterial diseases, they are curable. The viral diseases, they are not completely curable. Okay, so by treatment, these STDs can be cured as well. Now, there are some vaccinations also. So they are vaccination against HPV and hepatitis B. So the person should be made aware and the person should get vaccinated against this HPV and hepatitis B. And the partner treatment is also very important. Okay, partner treatment means the sexual partner disease, the couples. Okay, so if the couple, they are having sexual intercourse, obviously the chances are there of spreading the STDs to that person also. So the person should also get the treatment and his or her partner should also get the complete treatment. So partner treatment is also very important. Now, how can you test the STDs? So blood test can be done, urine test can be done, physical examination of the genital area can be done. So there can be blisters on the genital area, there can be inflammation. So physical examination can be done by the qualified doctors. Okay, swab test can be done for the detection of STDs, and then there are some rapid diagnosis tests for HIV or for gonorrhea. So these tests can be done for the early diagnosis of the STDs. Now, what are the cure of these STDs? So some of the STDs are curable also. Okay, so the STDs caused by bacteria. Okay, examples are gonorrhea, chlamydia and syphilis. They are all caused by bacteria. They can be treated with antibiotics. Now some of the diseases, they are caused by virus also, like genital herpes, HIV and HPV. They are caused by virus. So these infections are not completely curable. So they are not curable, but they are manageable with antiviral medications. So there is no cure for the viral infections. Only the symptoms can be managed. Now HIV can be treated with antiretroviral therapy. Now why we are writing antiretroviral therapy? Because HIV virus, this is a retrovirus. Means it consists of RNA as a genetic material. That's why antiretroviral therapy is given. The next one is parasitic infections or infections caused by the protozoans. Example is trichomoniasis. Now this can also be treated with oral antibiotics. So this is also treatable. Here you can see in this image, this is the image showing you pathogens causing the STDs. So these pathogens can be divided into these categories. Viral, first one is the viral STD, or the STDs caused by virus. Second is the STDs caused by bacteria. Third one is the STDs caused by protozoans. Okay, and the fungus. So these STDs can also be caused by fungus as well, like Candida albicans. Candida albicans, this is a fungus. This can also cause STDs. So the STDs which are caused by viruses, these are HIV, HPV, herpes and hepatitis. You should remember this, these are very important. STDs caused by bacteria, chlamydia, syphilis, gonorrhea. STDs caused by the protozoans or the parasite, you can say here. These are all parasitic. Okay, and the fungus, pubic lice, scabies, trichomoniasis, which is caused by protozoans. And then Candida albicans, which is a fungus. Okay, we were talking about the cure of STDs. Now vaccinations are also available for preventing HPV and hepatitis B. So most of the people, they don't know that vaccines are available for HPV and hepatitis B. Partner treatment is required to prevent reinfection and transmission of the STDs. So this is also very important here, treatment of the partner. Regular screening is needed for early detection and treatment. So early diagnosis will help to treat the disease effectively. Most STIs are curable if detected early, okay, except the viral diseases. Now, hepatitis B, genital herpes, and HIV, they cannot be completely cured. Now, regular healthcare checkups are recommended. Now, there is a stigma that often prevents people from seeking the treatment. So, what is the stigma? So, if the society comes to know that that person is having this STD, then the society will isolate that person. Okay, and that person will be stressed out. That person will feel isolated, and the person is already under a lot of depression. So this social stigma, this prevents people from seeking the treatment. So that person won't go to the doctor as well. That person will not follow the proper treatment as well. It will restrict itself from going to the doctor. Now STIs can present asymptomatically. So the symptoms of the STIs, these are asymptomatic. Means the infection is there, but the symptoms doesn't appear. Sometimes the symptoms, even for HIV, okay, for example, HIV, symptoms might appear after 3 or 4 years. Although the person is infected, but the symptoms appear after 3 to 4 years, and then this becomes very difficult to treat the disease. And there are chances of spread also. The disease can spread also from one person to another person. Treatment of partner is essential. Regular screening is recommended for sexually active individuals. Now we have discussed the topic sexually transmitted diseases. Now let's summarize this entire lecture. So these are also known sexually transmitted infections. They are also known as venereal disease or reproductive tract infections. What are the common STIs? Gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes. These are common STIs. Okay, gonorrhea, syphilis caused by bacteria, genital herpes caused by virus. Then chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B. These are the common STIs. And HIV and AIDS, these are the most dangerous one, because there is no cure for AIDS. Then the mode of transmission through sexual intercourse. Some can be transferred through blood transfusion or the needles, such as HIV and hepatitis B. So remember this, HIV and hepatitis B, this can be transferred through sexual intercourse also, and through the blood transfusion also, or through the blood also, from the mother to the fetus, by placenta or by breastfeeding, or during the delivery of the baby. Prevention of STDs: avoid multiple unknown sexual partners. The couples who use condom during the intercourse. Then early detection and proper treatment. Early detection or early diagnosis of the disease is very important for the proper treatment. And proper treatment and the prescribed treatment should be completely taken by the infected person. Now let's discuss this question. What are the different modes of transmission for STIs like HIV and hepatitis B? So they are specifically asking about the HIV and hepatitis B. Let's discuss the answer. First point is through sexual intercourse with infected person. So they can spread through the body fluids like semen and the vaginal secretions. Now sharing contaminated injection needles and surgical instrument as well. Next one is through blood transfusion from infected donors. Now transmission from infected mother to the fetus. So these are the modes through which the HIV and the hepatitis B can spread. And obviously through unprotected sexual intercourse or sexual contact. The next question: what preventive measures can be taken to avoid STIs? So what will be the answer to this question? Let's have a look at the answer. To avoid sexual contact with unknown or multiple partners, always use condom during sexual intercourse. Because condoms, what they do? They cover the reproductive organ. So they cover the penis in the males and they cover the cervix and the vagina in the females. So the body fluids, they are not, you can say, transferred to the reproductive organs or to the reproductive tract. Regular medical checkups, if any symptoms appear. So if the person thinks that the person is having some of the symptoms related to STDs, then the person should take medical help. Okay, the person should seek immediate medical attention and complete the prescribed treatment as well. So completion of treatment is also very important, and early detection and proper treatment from qualified medical professionals. This is very important. Because if the STIs or the STDs, if they are detected early, then they can be cured as well, except HIV. Now here are some keynotes that you can study. So we talked about sexually transmitted infections, also known as STI, VD and RTI. So this is the list of sexually transmitted diseases, common STIs. Then transmission methods through sexual intercourse, sharing infected needles, contaminated surgical instrument, blood transfusion, mother to fetus. The symptoms include, so these are the overall symptoms of STDs. There are some specific symptoms also, but these are the overall symptoms. The common symptoms will be itching in the genital area, fluid discharge, there will be slight pain and swelling in the genital region. These are the overall symptoms. Then complications if untreated, pelvic inflammatory diseases. So this is the inflammation in the reproductive organs, then abortions, stillbirth, ectopic pregnancies, infertility, reproductive tract cancer. These are the complications if STDs are left untreated. So you should remember these also. High risk group are age group of 15 to 24. Clear? Now what are the prevention methods of STDs? Avoid multiple unknown sexual partners, use condom during intercourse, early detection and treatment, and consult qualified doctor if you are in doubt. Okay, what are the important points to remember? Most STIs are curable if detected early. Okay, so this is very important. So that's why early diagnosis is important, because if they are diagnosed early, then they can be cured, especially the bacterial and the protozoan infection. Now, hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV, they are not completely curable. Remember, this question can come from here. Social stigma often prevents the early detection of these STDs, and prevention is possible with proper precautions. Now, these are some of the interesting questions for you. Okay, so this will enhance your critical thinking. So what is the first question here? Why do infected individuals often delay seeking medical treatment for the STIs despite them being most curable in the early stages? So some of the people, they don't seek medical treatment. They restrict themselves from going to the doctors. So why this is happening? So you have to answer this. So although they know, okay, that the diseases, some of the STDs, they can be cured if they are detected in early stage, but still they don't seek the medical, you can say, treatment. So what is the reason for that? Then another question is, how does the age group 15 to 24 years being most vulnerable to STIs relate to the importance of reproductive health education in the schools? Okay, why the sex education or awareness regarding the reproductive health should be given in the schools, or should be given to the individuals in the age group of 15 to 24 years. And then last question is, what factors make pregnancy and childbirth particular risk for women with untreated STDs or STIs? So if the STI, they are untreated, then what can happen? Okay, why the mother is at risk? Okay, why the pregnancy and the childbirth, they are at risk in the woman suffering from STIs. Clear? So we have discussed the theory now. Clear? So now let's discuss the DPP now, which is related to this topic. Let's start with the DPP now. So here is the first question now. Which of the following STIs is considered the most dangerous? Okay. Which is the most dangerous STIs? So what are the options? Gonorrhea, syphilis, option number C is HIV, option number D genital herpes. What will be the answer to this question? Let's have a look at the answer now. Answer will be option number C here, HIV. HIV, which is human immunodeficiency virus, also known as AIDS. This is the most dangerous. Why it is most dangerous? Because there is no cure for HIV. There's no cure for AIDS. Only the symptoms can be managed through antiretroviral medicines. Why antiretroviral? Because HIV is a retrovirus. It consists of RNA as a genetic material. Clear? Now next question, which of the following is not a mode of transmission for hepatitis B and HIV? So they are asking not a mode of transmission. Specifically, they are asking about hepatitis B and HIV. So first option is option number A, sharing injection needles, B is blood transfusion, C is mosquito bites, and D is from infected mother to the fetus. So what will be the correct answer here? Okay, here the correct answer will be option number C, mosquito bites. So hepatitis B and HIV, it can be spread through the during the sexual contact. It can spread through blood transfusion. It can spread through or by sharing injection needles as well. It can spread from the mother to the fetus as well. Okay, through placenta or by breastfeeding. Okay, or during the childbirth as well. So correct answer will be mosquito bites. Chikungunya and this malaria, these are spread through mosquito bites. Now, let's discuss this question. Which STIs are considered as incurable? Means there is no treatment for these STIs. So options are hepatitis B, genital herpes, and HIV. Now, option number B is gonorrhea and syphilis. Option number C is chlamydiasis and trichomoniasis. And option number D is genital warts and hepatitis B. So what will be the correct answer here? So let's have a look at the answer here. Answer will be option number A here. So the STIs which are caused by viruses, they are generally incurable. Hepatitis B, this is caused by virus. Genital herpes, this is also caused by virus. HIV, this is also caused by, obviously this is a virus, human immunodeficiency virus. Other rest of the disease, they are caused by bacteria, and trichomoniasis, this is caused by a protozoa. Okay, so answer will be option number A. Now let's discuss this question. Why might infected females remain undetected for STIs longer than males? So usually what happens in the females are asymptomatic as compared to males. What is the reason for that? Okay. Females are undetected. Okay, they are undetected for STI. So what is the reason for that? Option number A, social stigma prevent testing. Option number B, early symptoms are often asymptomatic, and option number C is lack of access to healthcare. Option number D is all of the above. What will the correct answer here? So let's have a look at the answer here. Answer will be option number B here. Option number B is early symptoms are often asymptomatic. So usually in the females, what happens? These symptoms of these STDs, especially the early symptoms, they are asymptomatic. Means the infection is there, but the symptoms doesn't appear. This happens usually in the females. So females are asymptomatic for the early symptoms. Option number B is the correct answer. Next one, which age group has the highest reported incidence of STIs? They're asking about the age group which is most vulnerable to STIs. So what are the options here? Option number A is 10 to 15 years, B is 15 to 24 years, C is 25 to 35 years, and D is 35 to 45 years. What will be the correct answer here? So let's have a look at the answer here. Answer will be option number B here, 15 to 24 years. So in this age group, the individuals, they are very curious. They want to explore new things. Okay, they want to try new things. There is lack of awareness. There is among them. Okay. So correct answer will be option number B here, 15 to 24 years. Clear. So let's submit the answers now. So we have discussed the answer now. All our answers were correct. So this is the end of the session. I hope the session was quite knowledgeable for you. We'll meet you in the next session. Thank you very much for listening.